The really impossible thing to teach in this class is beauty. You can't teach beauty. Um, I try, maybe you can, I don't know, but I try, what I try to do is point it out. I try to say, look how beautiful this is. And maybe you see it, maybe you don't. And after 100 times I point it out, maybe you get used to thinking about what it might look like. Um, this movie is extraordinarily beautiful. I use this phrase that I'll shout out in class. If we had physical class, and you're going to have to do it at your own. You're going to have to shout it for yourself. The phrase that you're going to shout that I learned from YouTube, the phrase is every frame a painting. Um, you yell this when you see something on screen that looks so beautiful that you could imagine pausing the movie, printing out a very high quality copy, and hanging it on your wall. 2001 is filled with images like that, where they're so cool and they're so interesting and they're so beautiful that it's like you could pause it and you'd be like, that's a work of art. And you could pause something else and be like, that's a work of art. And the sequences with the music are also there. Why do they take forever? Because students are like, nothing's happening. It's so boring. It's just beautiful. Now, for a lot of people, that kind of beauty is not a beauty that they're interested in. I'm sure you know people who they like the beauty of very good-looking human beings that they can have sex with, but they're not so interested in the beauty of nature. Um, so sometimes people are sensitive to one kind of beauty, but not another. This is a different kind of beauty, 2001. There's a beauty to just listening to the music and enjoying the slowness of it. I know that's hard because you're like, why don't they fucking speed it up? Skip this part. Enjoying the slowness of it, enjoying the beauty, and sort of just, it's a beautiful thing to sit there and watch this happen. The music, it's not there for the characters. Characters aren't listening to the music. That music is there for you. It's your music. It's the director put that music in there for you, the audience. The characters are not listening to that music. Later in the movie, there's music the characters will hear. Daisy, Daisy. Um, that's different. That's the kind of music characters themselves are listening to. This music is just for you. So this sequence is for you. In fact, our main guy doesn't even find space travel interesting enough to stay awake. It's so part of his everyday life that he doesn't care. Okay, cool. When they get to the moon, the movie shows you again that black box. It's called a monolith. And that same music plays. The music and the sounds there are being used to connect those two scenes. It's just a simple. It's a reminder. Um, it's a reminder that this is the same thing, the same kind of thing that we saw earlier in the movie. But also, it reminds you that these guys on the moon, these guys, they're just fancy monkeys, right? We evolved from those monkeys, and these guys on the moon are basically just fancy monkeys. So it connects up the scenes. When you have the same music in two scenes, it asks you, hey, since I use the same music in the two scenes, I would like you, the audience, to think about the connection between the two scenes. It's just a simple thing to remind you. It's a callback to an earlier thing. Cool. I feel like this is going pretty good so far. I'm going to see if I have anything else to say about music. Okay, good. I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the lack of music later in the movie. When they're going out to fix the spaceship, there's no music. You just hear this guy breathing. There's a lot of Star Wars in 2001, by the way. The giant ships and the breathing on the soundtrack. Star Wars is getting that right out of this movie. But particularly the way the giant ship is so big, it almost fills the whole screen up. But there's a decision not to use music for that. And again, it makes it, you put scary music up there, but like not having any music at all almost makes me worry more. Because again, it makes it feel like the sequence with the monkeys. The lack of music makes it feel like you're really standing there. Because of course, in life, you never get a soundtrack. Well, I mean, you can put earbuds in, but you know what I mean. There's not like it's not scored for you. So, the lack of music there is dramatic. But I want to talk about another, and the whole, when he goes out to rescue the guy, there's no music. It's tense. It's real. Because suddenly something quite real. Something really dramatic has happened, and you'd expect dramatic music when there's the first dead body in the movie, or the first human dead body, I guess. You expect dramatic music, but there's no music at all to make it sort of seem more real. So there's a key moment that I want to talk about though in the movie where that has the decision to have no music, and it's really an interesting one. And I'm going to say something here that's going to come up again and again and again and again in these movies. And it's one of the reasons why I love this movie, and I love a lot of movies that do this, and other people hate these movies, and they hate movies that do this. So let's find out what it is. The scene where they're talking about disconnecting Hal, And they're like, I wonder what he's gonna think about that being turned off. And they're having this very serious discussion about what they're gonna do with Hal. And then Hal's watching them, and you find out later he's been reading their lips, and he knows that they want to turn him off. There's no music in the scene, and I love that. I love it so much because it's not what would happen in a Marvel movie. Again, I love those movies, but it's not what would happen in those movies. Why? Most movies put the music in to tell you how to feel. It's a big thing that music do. So when, for example, if they're going to show a very attractive person, they'll put like a big, swelling, beautiful piece of music, and you're like, wow, this person is obviously the best person in the whole movie because they get this cool song to walk in the room to. Or if a movie wants you to be scared, they'll play scary music. Or if somebody's, if something exciting is happening, if they want you to feel excited, they play exciting music. If they want you to feel scared, they play scary music. Fine. They play no music in this scene with Hal. And it's one of my favorite things, and we'll see this a lot, particularly when we get to the David Lynch movies, which I'll talk about later. Particularly when we get to the David Lynch movies. Because there's no music in the scene, the director doesn't tell you how to feel. He lets you decide how to feel. You can feel any which way you want. You can feel like, fuck yeah, you should turn Hal off. He's an asshole. Or you can be like, oh shit, they're in trouble. Or, you can have your own feelings about it. Most movies like to control the audience's feelings. The modern blockbusters are designed to control your feelings very, very tightly. They want you to have a very particular kind of experience, and they want to control every aspect of it. And Kubrick doesn't do that here. He just lets you feel how you want to feel. He also lets you think what you want to think. He doesn't over-explain things in the film, and it's one of the best things about the movie, because it treats you like you're smart enough to have your own feelings and your own thoughts. And that's not something that most movies do. Most movies treat you like you're pretty stupid. They explain how the whole movie works in very careful detail. Let me explain how the superpowers work and what can Iron Man do and how to Professor Xavier's powers work and whatever. But this movie doesn't explain things so much to you. It treats you like you're smart. All right, cool. So we're doing pretty good. I like it. There's also an intermission, which is just amazing. That's something you probably haven't seen before. Again, it's very arty. It makes it feel like it's like a play that has two parts. It makes the intermission in the movie makes it feel more like a play than a movie. Plays often have a break in the middle where you take a walk, but movies tend not to do that. They don't do it because they're afraid if they give you an intermission, you might go home. It's why HBO doesn't have the commercial breaks. You might leave the room if there's a commercial break. It's why you ever watch TV and while the credits of one movie's playing, they've already started. They shrink the credits down at the bottom of the screen and they just play the next movie immediately because they're afraid that while those credits are rolling, you're gonna go leave, turn the TV off, do something else. But if they immediately play the next one, Netflix, right? Netflix is ready to show you the next thing when your program ends. But Kubrick is like, take a walk. You'll come back. You're smart. That's my favorite little details in the film. Okay, cool. Looking pretty good. All right, so let's talk about other things now. I talked about pacing and why it's paced the way that it is. A lot of people think if you show exciting things, the movie will be exciting, and if you show slow things, the movies will be slow. It'll be boring. The audience will be bored if the movie goes slow, and the audience will be entertained if the movie goes fast. So I guess that's sort of true. But there's an important thing here, which is it's not just about are you being exciting or are you being boring. It's can you get the audience used to a certain kind of pace and then change it on them. Kubrick spends 2 hours with a very slow-paced thing. And then when Poole dies, when Hal kills him, it feels like you're like, holy shit. It feels huge because the movie's gone so slow. It wouldn't feel like such a big deal if 30 or 40 people had already been killed in the movie, because they got to kill a person every 10 minutes or you're gonna walk out. And same thing for the end of the movie. The end of the movie is amazing. But it's amazing because he made you sit through the slow bits. You got used to a pace, and then the end smacks you in the head. If a movie is like Transformers, all explosions, all excitement, all the time, you start to feel numb. You no longer feel excited for the end of the movie. The whole movie looked like the end of the movie. All right, pick it up in the next video.